Well, that's a solid start. There's one massive potential pothole that I'm a little worried about, but that's a solid start. Peacemaker, episode 1 of season 2. I enjoyed the first season of Peacemaker quite a bit. And yeah, I had decent hopes for this. I'm not going to say I have high hopes, not because I don't think it'll be good. It's just I don't know what to expect out of it. But this is a pretty good, solid start. Right off the bat, I think it was really interesting how they did some minor canon adjustments in the previously on, specifically when it came to the Justice Gang, because they repeated some of the stuff from the last episode of the previous season, but with new characters inserted into it. Basically, having it with the current Hawk Girl and Guy Gardner Green Lantern there, and replacing the Aquaman has a fish fetish joke with a Green Lantern has a puke fetish joke. So that was kind of a nice way of acknowledging, like, yes, the previous season did basically happen as you saw it, pretty much, but just a few little tweaks just to fix the continuity. I don't know. It's a shockingly smooth way to do a retcon like that. So yeah, props to that. It was a good way to do it. This is the we got to establish where everybody's at currently episode for the most part. We got to establish where Chris, aka Peacemaker, is at and how he's doing. We got to establish Hardcourt. We got to establish Economos, Vigilante. The whole group. Yes, I did stop there because I have now forgotten the name of Amanda Waller's daughter. I didn't rewatch the previous season. I can't remember the character's name. I like her. That's annoying because I went out of my way to try and remember Hardcourt's name, because while I was watching the episode, I was like, I'm gonna forget her name if I don't go out of my way, and then I just forget somebody else's. Welcome to my brain. Anyways, this is it's a setup episode. We got to cover where everybody's at, show where they are both in terms of career, geographically, and emotionally. How's everybody doing? Short answer, not great. And I like kind of the repeated acknowledgments that, yeah, you saved the world. You're all still kind of a bunch of jackasses who screwed stuff up. So thanks for saving the world. But no, that's not going to get you a ton of leeway. And we see that pretty much across the board. Economos is stuck just doing surveillance. Vigilante's still working the service job. Hardcourt's a freaking mess. Chris can't get a look in with the Justice Gang or any legitimate group. And fuck, I got to look up her name. Adebayo. She's not in a great place because, her wife left her, which generally not a thing I love. It always strikes me as a lazy thing to just break up a relationship between seasons, and is usually an indication that they either didn't know what to do with the character or the actor didn't want to come back. I'm kind of hoping she will show up again later. I haven't checked cast list, and I can't remember if I spotted her in the opening credits dance or not. Gonna have to watch for that again next time. Oh, let's talk about that. Opening credits dance. It's fun. It's not as good as the last one, but I'm not sure it could have been. I mean, the first thing is it can't shock us with its presence because we knew it was coming. The first season, it was what the hell is this? And now it's let's see it. I was a little bit disappointed that the dancing felt so reminiscent. It's one thing to have the style feel the same, but I'm spotting some of the same moves. I'm oh, I'd kind of hope they'd, go for something that had the same feel, but not be repeating choreography as much. Also, the song doesn't go as hard. It's still fun. I like that they do it. I like that they kept it. And if they have more seasons after this, I will look forward to whatever comes next. Just, if we're comparing the two, first seasons was better. I like that they're hinging a fair bit on the little interdimensional storage locker, for lack of a better way to put it, because that was a plot point in the previous season, and now it has direct tie-ins to Superman because a pocket universe was a major thing in the Superman movie. So yeah, that makes sense as something that an organization like Argus would be very wary of and want to keep an eye on. But also, I kind of like the idea that it's cross-dimensional. Like it's just a shared storage locker. Yeah, there's other beings that just pop in and out of here. And I like that it is initially a joke for just this alien who incinerates some stuff and walks away and doesn't interact with Chris at all. And then with the alternate dimension. Now, the stuff with the alternate dimension is stuff that I liked here, but is the thing that I'm nervous about. I'm nervous about it for two major reasons. The first is you are dipping your toe into multiverse immediately, because while the the pocket dimension and the notion of this being connected to other things doesn't necessarily necessitate the notion of a multiverse, it now does, because we've now seen an alternate world with alternate history and alternate present. So I'm nervous at the introduction of a multiverse this early. I'm not super nervous. I'm a little nervous because, like, I'm tired of multiverses. Like, I just am. Everybody should have stopped once the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once came out, because you're not going to do it better, and it's resulted in mostly staleness. And that's partially Marvel's fault. That's not necessarily DC's fault, but multiverse is very much a thing that I am over, like as a thing in especially my superhero stories right now. So we'll see how heavily they lean on it. I don't think they're going to, or at least I'm hoping not. So I'm hoping it's going to be a pretty restrained use of that idea. The other thing is we are setting up a potential plot line that is not necessarily going to be bad, but is just going to be hard for me to watch, which would be the Chris that we know trying to take the place of the Chris he just accidentally killed. That I don't want to see that, largely just because I'm not a fan of the liar revealed storyline. Somebody who goes in and has to just not blow their cover. I'm not saying it never ever works, but by and large I don't like it because it leans a lot into cringe and cringe comedy, which just I deeply fundamentally do not like it. I'm not saying it's like it's wrong or it's bad or it's wicked or you're wrong if you like it. I hate it. I hate cringe, deliberate cringe comedy so much. It is uncomfortable. And so I'm nervous about how hard it's going to be for me to watch that if they go there. And I'm expecting that they're going to, because it would make sense. Like, Chris would want this other Chris's life. It's better than his. But if they go that way, I hope it's a plot that doesn't eat up too much of the runtime of the show. I will also be curious to see in what ways it's a kind of messed up timeline. At my first guess, the Chris from there was probably a bigger dick than Chris and probably never questioned himself the way that our current Chris is. That's my guess as the major difference. I suppose while we're here, we'll bring up the orgy. And also the fact that they are not shying away from the indications that happened last season that Chris is bisexual. The fact that he came out of that thing with the Justice Gang, which I didn't find too cringy, that rode the line really carefully for me, because Chris knew what they were saying and was trying to hold a strong face. So that became trying to be stoic in a moment of vulnerability, which I can deal with a lot better than if he had just had no idea and he was just saying stuff and they were being mean to him and he didn't know. And then he finds out. That actually would have been harder. The way they presented it kept a lid on that. But, Green Lantern tries to insult him by saying that one of his skills is sucking dick. He gets back in the car and he immediately goes, sucking dick is a compliment. Yes, it is. If you're good at it, awesome. And then, of course, we have the orgy, which, take that, Game of Thrones. That show was so scared to show just, dong swinging around. This has no issue. My tiny nitpicky thing, not a problem, but I would have liked to have seen slightly greater body shape variety on the women. We got some heavier guys in there, which cool, awesome. I would have liked more body shape variety on the women, and I would have, I did back up and check again. No, it was for a reason. It was for research. You shut up. I did back up and watch it again. I had an eye out. I'm trying to spot a trans body. I'm trying to spot a guy with top surgery scars, or I'm trying to spot a woman with a dong, and I didn't spot either one. And that's not a problem. It just strikes me as a missed opportunity, especially given how firmly they have established Chris as being bisexual and not having a problem with that. Like, it was a great opportunity to just throw a trans body in there while we're at it. I wouldn't have accused you of exploitation or fetishization no more than anybody else in the room was. So, I don't know. Tiny notes. Mr. Gunn, I know you're watching. Yeah, next time you have an orgy scene, throw a trans body in there. Throw some fat women in there. And have them having just as much fun as everybody else. I'd appreciate it. Anyways. Suppose the other major thing is Hardcourt, and she is not doing okay. Like, at all. She's a mess. And I kind of like her being confronted with that and being told, like, yeah, you got a toxic masculinity problem, and her behaving incredibly toxically masculine about it. And then her coping mechanism is just toxic masculinity all the way down. Like, you are just proving the point. I also, small thing, I appreciate that despite the fact that the fight in the bar started from a guy ineptly hitting on her, that when eventually and inevitably the bar fight goes south for her, because, yeah, she kicks some ass, but also she does not have superpowers, and that is a lot of dudes who got in on that fight. She wasn't going to be able to hold out forever. I appreciate that after beating her up a bit, which, honestly, I don't want to say she deserved, but like was not an unreasonable reaction given what she had done, that they just dumped her out on the street and left it at that. People more interested in trying to be edgy for its own sake would have implied that they had done some other stuff to her. There's no implication of that. And in fact, the what appears to be the timeline of them, kicking her around a bit and then just dumping her on the street, no indication of ripped clothes or anything, would seem to completely throw out any possibility of that having happened. And again, small thing, and I appreciate it. So yeah, it's a pretty solid setup. It's got the mood right. The characters are in interesting places that have places to go. I'll be curious to see how much Rick Flag Sr. actually factors into the story, or whether or not he's going to be a background element. But yeah, solid start. Not amazing, but solid. Which my memory was kind of the first episode of the first season too, because like that first season, it really was, as it went along, you really got to dig into these characters and what their damage was, what their arcs were, and that's where you really got the really amazing moments as it went. And so I'm hopeful for stuff later, even though I'm a little bit nervous about what the cringe comedy level is going to be with having killed that universe Chris. That having been said, though, when that happened, that, like, I don't know why I didn't call that, but, like, when the Chris that we know, like, hit his rocket and he went up and he hit the roof, I'm like, oh, yeah. And then, like, he stays there and there's the blood. I'm like, oh, crap. Like, that was legitimately my reaction in the moment. So while I'm nervous about what's going to come out of that story, that was a heck of a capper for the episode. I'll give you that. Peacemaker, episode 1. Pretty solid start. What are your thoughts on this? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills, enables me to do this as my living, even if you can't help me out that way. Like, share, subscribe. Also help. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here. You can just come on back next time you need a break. And now to thank my highest supporting patrons: Robin Moore, Jared Boyce, Zubin Fulla, Auntie Kate 808, Mira G, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, Movie Turtle, Oliver B, Sean Miller, Welsh Wrestling Geeks, Melissa Pedersen, Mary Mello, Becky Sparks, Loki Eris, Tracy Scrabbit, Pal Barabajoggle, and Sir Didymus is my favorite. Don't worry, the rats are all fine, but my rat wrangler is not here right now, and I thought we could have Archie say hi. Or not.